All right. Hello and welcome back to STL Toyota Off-Road Podcast. I'm Eric and I am here with Larry. Larry, tell us who you are.
So I'm Larry Holmes. In the Jeeping 4x4 everything world, fabrication, a little bit of everything. I know this is a Toyota podcast, but we're all about the 4x4 lifestyle. So whether you're in Jeeps or Toyotas, whatever, we love all the teams.
Absolutely. It doesn't really matter. Like we have our love for Toyotas, but hey, we're all out there on the trails together, and that's really all that matters.
Right.
The love for adventure and the love for getting off road and the community that comes with it.
Absolutely.
Being out there in the trail and running into. It doesn't matter what you're driving, a Suzuki Sidekick. It's I get a kick out of it all when you're out there.
Well, when we're all broke, we all break down and we all help each other out. So
Yes, absolutely. And we all brag about our Toyotas being so reliable, and for the most part they are. But I mean, right now I would normally be on an adventure or out checking out the fall colors and this beautiful crisp night, but I'm kind of broke down right now.
it happens to us all.
It does.
Absolutely.
And it's not that I can still go get in it. I can drive it. It'll probably take me anywhere I wanted to go right now. But there's just something that's I don't know. There's something that's broke on it that I'm not happy about. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's how we learn about our rigs.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. You what year is your Jeep you have right now?
It's an 18 JL.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's our. I've owned other 4-wheel drives. They've been pickup trucks and that kind of thing.
Right.
This is our first, I'll say, rock crawling, overlanding type vehicle. So
right.
we've only been in this now for about almost 3 years.
Okay.
So I kind of caught the bug late in life. I'm in my mid 50s. I've been a gearhead my whole life.
Right.
But we got that. I'll just say the trail bug bit me, and it bit me kind of hard.
Absolutely. So 3 years is kind of around this time I started like with the Toyotas.
Okay.
Before that, I mean, I've had a lot of like off-road experience, but it's always been with like the big, square body Chevys.
Sure.
What I thought was really cool back in the day. Not so much the trail stuff that we do nowadays. That I find a lot more enjoyable, honestly. But so what'd you have before that, or what's your progression with the vehicles through the years?
So I've had I had a 2000 Silverado 4-wheel drive for 20 years.
Okay.
So I've owned a little bit of everything. I've had those Mazdas, I've owned Cadillacs, I've Chevys, Fords. And I'm kind of a calico cat of vehicles. It's never, it's been a little bit of everything over the years.
Gotcha. So then you have this now, and so with this, did this bring along the fabrication side of it as well, or were you always doing that?
So I'm a machinist by trade.
Okay.
I had an apprenticeship years ago where in the machining. And, my machining trade has kind of taken many turns through the years. So the fabrication end of it's kind of always been there.
Okay.
But, with the onset of the Jeep is where I've kind of really turned up the fabrication in my garage.
Okay.
So we have the Jeeping Mo site where we do a lot of fabrication on all kinds of Jeeps, and we've built rock sliders for Toyotas.
For Darren, yeah, I've seen those in person. They look good. They look really good.
Yeah, then we have our fabrication only channel, which allows us to kind of nerd out a little bit, which is a 4x4 fab shop. So we kind of do a little bit of everything on that channel, because if I put some of that on the Jeeping Mo YouTube channel, it wouldn't get the views that it's just putting on its own fabrication channel. So we do a little bit of every kind of fabrication.
Okay. So actually, I guess I didn't actually know about the other channel that you had then. I'm gonna have to subscribe to that. Maybe I am. I just don't know it even.
Yeah, it's only about 2 months old, so it's not
Oh,
like it's
okay.
been out there for a while. It was just a
Gotcha.
way I've got a lot of content, and you like your podcast, you have a lot of content, you don't want to waste it. So I just kind of I peel it off and I put it on the other channel, and then
Okay, perfect.
both channels kind of do something very specific. That way, like I said, we nerd out a little bit more in fab work on the other channel.
Okay. So are you doing, so as your fab shop, are you full time doing that now, or are you still a slave to the man?
Oh, I'm a slave to the man, and
Yeah.
I doubt that'll change. But you never
Okay.
know. But we're looking at making some more additions to the fab shop over the next year. I've been thinking about putting a plasma table in.
Ooh, nice.
Exactly. I just got to find. It's got to pay for itself. That's like everything else. If you want to come to the table, you got to provide some dinner yourself.
Yeah. So I mean, I've watched your progression over, well, over the, I guess, the last 3 years really, but it seemed like this last year you really stepped up with with getting some more gear and some different welders, and even
Right.
putting a lot more content out really. So I mean, how has that changed everything for you?
So we started about 2 years ago now with, and I decided at that time we were going to do a video a week,
Okay.
and we've stayed on that progression. And we've played with some of the YouTube shorts a little bit because
Right.
it's easy content to put out.
The algorithm loves it too.
Oh yeah, and what kind of really drove me into the fabrication aspect of it is, as much as I love going out to all the different off-road parks, I can't travel. I can't get all that travel time and create the content and work full time. So the fabrication has allowed me to kind of fill in some of those voids
Okay.
that that the other content that I just can't create. Because fortunately for my job, I travel a lot, and I've got to go out and meet up with friends in Big Bear, California, and do some of the John Bulls and Gold Mountain trails out there, and do a lot of that kind of stuff. But as you know, when if you travel a lot, that gets expensive going to all these events,
Yeah.
and it's a big expense to keep traveling and creating all that content.
It is, and that's another thing I was going to ask about. Is I seen that you did a lot of traveling around this past year, and you were, well, you said Big Bear, and then I think you were out in Colorado not too long ago, and I've
Yes.
seen you in different places, and I was wondering what your, well, I guess how you got there, but I guess you're doing that through work, and then being able to kind of spin off and do your own thing from that.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of both. So when Big
Okay.
Bear, we were doing some stuff for work, but the stuff in Colorado, um, some good friend of ours opened a 4x4 shop down there. So I just kind of peeled off for the weekend. A quick little 15-hour drive down there. Drove down, drove down. I wheeled for the day with him and drove back on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
and we were just down in Texas doing the same thing. We drove down and had a big Jeep meet down in Marble Falls in their off-road park.
Okay.
We peeled off on Friday, drove all day, wheeled all day Saturday, and drove back on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there's a reason why I've got an 18 with 85,000 miles on it.
Well, I mean, that's I mean, as many different avenues as you're in and you're able to take from what you're doing, it's beneficial each trip. So I mean, you're obviously doing a work trip, but you're able to create content, and you have you're doing your fab thing too, so you're able to, well, self promote while you're out doing
Right.
those things. So
It
that's,
helped.
yeah, absolutely. So uh let's see, what was I going to say? Now your fab work has gotten more, I guess you've taken on more aggressive projects lately, and I mean, like you're welding up rear ends, and I seen you gusset of several things lately, and you made a new swing out tire carrier.
Right.
So I mean, are these customers asking for this, or are you like, these are just ideas that you have that you wanted to make?
So it's a little of both. Like
Okay.
Darren's, rock sliders. He was
Yeah.
wanting a set of those. We just kind of laid it all out and just made that happen. And then the axle, the trusses, and the rebuilds are actually takeoffs that this weekend we're putting underneath my Jeep.
Oh, really?
So, right? Yeah, because I had bought a Sport, and as we know, a Jeep Sport doesn't have lockers and everything.
Right.
So I found a set of Rubicon takeoffs, and I put the Artec trusses on it, and did a couple other little things to it, and those will go in this weekend.
Wow, stepping up the game.
Yeah,
That's a big upgrade.
It's good to learn how to wheel without lockers.
Well, absolutely, it is.
But every now and then, it's nice to have that easy button, just to click the button and not struggle so much, because we drive a stick shift, so that adds a little bit different level of complexity to the whole thing.
It absolutely does. I know. I mean, you may be one of these guys, but I know a lot of guys like the stick shifts. But when I'm wheeling or doing any kind of rock crawling or off roading, I like my automatic.
Oh, I can definitely say that there's times when I wish I had an automatic on the trail too.
You definitely need 4 feet sometimes when you have a stick shift.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, and then the swing out, we had a trip to Utah planned that ended up falling through. We're going to go do a hole in the rock trail.
Okay.
And one of the big things with that is you're out in the middle of nowhere, so you need fuel. I built the swing out so I could carry fuel cans.
Okay.
So
it looks. I mean, from what I've seen, it looks really nice.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so we kind of built out the shop to where we can bend and tube, and we've got a MIG-TIG stick multi-process welder. We can do sheet metal bending. So there's a little bit of everything that we can do, and it all kind of fits into my background a little bit.
Absolutely. So I seen that you have some flags up when you're in your shop in your YouTube videos. Now, are you sponsored?
So we do have. We are an affiliate for one of the welding suppliers, Rock Mount.
Okay.
So it's kind of nice. I work with them quite a bit, and then we do a little bit of work with Trick Tools.
Okay.
So they give us a little break on some of the tools and promote them through the videos. But the Rock Mount Welding, we do a lot of work with them. Matter of fact, we made another video today for them, and we had a 79 Jimmy had broke the transfer case adapter mount. It had snapped clean off.
Okay.
And we welded that all back together and helped promote a new welding rod for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that'll go up on our 4x4 channel, probably tomorrow or Monday.
I'm gonna have to subscribe to that channel. I if I'm not already. I don't think I am. I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm curious now. So now your channel, you're monetized at this point, right?
Yeah, we're monetized. Jeeping Mo is a monetized channel.
Okay.
And it's I'll say the illusion of when you first get monetized, it's like most things. You're making a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But you're not really killing it yet.
Oh, I understand.
So we'll make maybe 100 or so a month, and it helps pay for a little doodad here and there, or software, because as this media creation, it costs money.
It does. I mean, well, I'm on my phone right now, and I've done everything exclusively from my phone so far. I had a GoPro that I tried to sneak in there,
Right.
and I had a drone, and I was loving my drone. I was loving the footage, and I loved integrating that into the videos. And then one beautiful sunrise morning, it was the fog raising off the creek. I'm at camp. Sun's just peeking up, and I'm trying to take the drone and fly it backwards along this creek. Like this picturesque cinematic view.
Sure.
I could see it in my head working out, and I'm flying along the creek. Kind of low, just backwards. and I'm looking down the creek at it, and I did not see the tree limb.
Oh.
And I hit a tree limb, and it went underwater. And now it was cold. It was cold out, and I didn't want to just jump in the water after it. So I ran back to camp. I got my knee-high boots on, and then went downriver to retrieve it. And by that time, it was toast. And,
yeah, drones don't like to be submarines.
No, they need to make them both.
That'd be pretty cool.
But it's fun. So now let's talk about your Jeep and Mo channel. So you started about 3 years ago, right?
Somewhere in there, yeah, about 3 years ago.
So now you had your Jeep at this point. You said you started because of your Jeep.
We actually had started it just prior to getting the Jeep.
Okay.
But it was right about the same time.
Now, was there anybody you were watching or any influence that you had to start creating the video or to buy a Jeep?
You know, growing up, I've known a lot of people with Jeeps.
Okay.
You know, so you know, there's no lack of Jeeps in the area. You can throw a rock and hit 10 Jeeps.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and you know, I'll say one of the hometown local guys. You know, we watch Matt McClellan's.
Oh yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
all the time. I mean, he's knocked it out of the park, and you know, he's done a great job with YouTube. And you know, I came up watching his videos because he's been at the game for a long time too. And you know, that's kind of how you learn all of this, by kind of looking at people who's done it and who's succeeded by it. So, you know, watch his, and I watch several of the other. You know, we all watch Trail Recons and you know, Overland Adventures, and you know, we watch all those and trying to get all the little tips we can. You know, Dirt Lifestyle is one of the big ones for us because he does all the overlanding, a lot of the fab work. He's kind of who I want to be when I grow up.
You know what? I really do like his channel. He seems like the guy that you would really like to hang out with around campfire, but
Absolutely.
He's got these really cool, incredible builds. Like his Jeep, there's the tan, well, you know the Jeep I'm talking about. But just looking at it, like, okay, it's a built Jeep, but then under the hood he's got the TDI motor, you know, and he's just got all these very unique twist to it that make it very personal for him, which I really, really respect. And he built the entire thing.
Yeah, look at the big disco he built. I mean, that's
that was a mammoth of a build.
Yeah, and you know what? Nate has done a phenomenal job with that channel. And let's face it, Nate's a very likable guy.
Yeah.
And you know, he's done a hell of a job with with filming and cinematography, and I mean, you can't take nothing from that guy, but just to try to learn from what he's doing, because he's doing an outstanding job.
His cinematography for his channel, he came out of the box like, okay, he was a union plumber, and then he quit to do YouTube full time. But he started the game, I think, really knowing that he wanted to be, big at YouTube and good at it. So his video quality from day one, or even early on, was always really phenomenal. He's got the right angles, and he takes a lot of time and a lot of pride in shooting his videos.
Oh, absolutely. You know, he spent a little bit of time doing footage for a bleeping Jeep.
Yeah.
And, you know, but hey, you know, he's good at what he does. He's good at his craft. And, you know, it's guys like him that, you know, I try to watch and try to pick up the pointers, because you never want to be the other person, but you can always learn from them.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, because you don't need two of the same channels. But, you know, we all kind of live in the same space and kind of do similar things. So there's going to be some, you know, bleed over a little bit. But, you know, we all kind of take our personality and put it in there.
There is. And, I mean, in this niche that we're in, well, I mean, that anybody's in all honesty, there's room for it.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, everybody's got their unique style. and you know, I'm still trying to do the YouTube thing. I'm not succeeding, but I still enjoy doing it. And years down the road, I'll still be able to look back and see my journey, you know?
Well, that's the thing with it. We're at about 1,400 subscribers at this point, and we're getting some views. But it takes so long. It's like you look at I would say my first 100 subscribers, that took forever. It's like, why am
Yeah.
I wasting my time at this? When it picks up pace a little bit, you get to around 500, it picks up pace a little bit more. And then when it hit 1,000, now it's picking up pace faster. And it's just one of those things that I think it forces you to, you're gonna put your time in, unless you're just that unicorn that just hits lightning and goes. But
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you
just,
put out there. People watch it.
yeah, it's just like what you're doing. You keep at it, you'd be the next Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I could only wish.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were on with Michael Hayden on Overland Radio
Yeah, heard that.
2 weeks ago, and I've met him a couple times at a couple of these different overland things we go to, and I was talking to him one day, and he says he takes a lot of inspiration from Joe Rogan, and I mean, Joe Rogan's the podcaster, but the Michael Hayden, sorry, is it was really fun because he doesn't take it serious. And I'm sure he does, but that's his way of taking it serious. It was a really
Sure.
lighthearted conversation, a lot of comedy in it. And we went on as St. Louis Toyota, but only 5% of the whole hour and a half was really about Toyotas.
Mm-hmm.
It was just about whatever he wanted it to be. But it was really fun, and I like we said, we don't want to be that person, but it's nice to have somebody to kind of learn from.
Right.
And I listened I think I listened to every podcast of his, and I enjoy them all. And then like next week I'm gonna have Fletch from all things Overland on.
Okay.
And his style of podcast is completely different. His is very to the point, and bullet point based, and you can tell it's scripted out, but it's in a way that it's very informative. You learn a lot from each podcast you listen to.
Sure.
Well, the different dynamics between them it's going to be fun. And I like these conversations with. I mean, we've met several times at
Absolutely.
Rendezvous in the Ozarks, Moore, at S'more.
I think
But
S'more was the last time I actually seen you.
yeah, 'cause I seen you at Moore, but you were talking to somebody, I was talking to somebody, but hey, we were both there.
Sure. And that's the big thing with this. We've all got our style, and whether you like it or whether you don't. But I
Yeah.
think that that's what people kind of key into, whether or not you seem genuine to it, whether
Yeah.
you like the style or not. I think people can tell if it's just manufactured, and if it comes across manufactured, I think most people just tune out.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, when there's some people that pump a video out every week, but you can tell that they just scrounged to get that video out.
Right.
I feel like, I know the algorithm doesn't favor it, but I feel like if you need to wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get the content that your heart is behind, wait 3 weeks out and put something out that you think is good.
Sure.
Instead of just favoring the algorithm and just punching the video out every week at Thursday at 8:00.
Right.
Some people can do that, and their videos are phenomenal. One of my favorite YouTubers that I actually take a lot of inspiration from is Lifestyle Overland.
Oh yeah.
I really love that family. I love the way they do it, and Toyota. I believe I bought my Toyota because of them.
And it has got that new rig they're trying out now too.
Yeah, that thing's a beast. That thing's cool. And it's it's Chevy powered.
Yeah.
So, you can't complain too much about that. So, let's see. I've seen you twice now at two different overland events with your dog. I used to you
Oh
take
yeah,
your dog camping quite often. So
yeah,
how's that
absolutely.
work out for you?
Oh, it's good. We like I said, we just went down to Texas. So
Okay.
my dog's name is Duke. We rescued him right about 2 years ago now.
Okay.
He's he's a big boy. He's a 130-pound
Oh,
black lab,
nice.
and he's my shadow. We go anywhere, he's right by my side. And like I said, we went down to Texas, and he sat in that back seat. And when he got out, he rolled around the stretch for about an hour straight. But
I bet.
he's really good. When we first got him, he was a little too rambunctious. So, through getting him out with everybody and socializing him, now he's just like, yeah, okay, where's my treat? You know?
So he enjoys the camping and the going off the road and all that.
Oh yeah, yeah. He bumps around back there, and like I said, he just enjoys getting out too.
That's good.
Yeah, oh
I
yeah.
I I don't have a dog, and I'm kind of missing having a dog. I mean, my oldest son's 14, and he's to the point now where he's in that middle age where when he's younger, you make him go camping, and then when you're older, you come back into it. But he's in that too cool for doing that kind of age, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
understand
then
that
I
one.
also have a 3-year-old, and now the 3-year-old, I've taken him on several just solo trips, just me and him. From the time he was, well, I mean, first start walking, so just over a year, and just like, oh, not even a state park, but like, I don't want to use the word overland trip, but these small little weekend trips where I'm going out in Mark Twain Forest, not doing any wheeling, going to a nice destination and camping where he can run and by a creek,
Sure.
play. He loves that, but I have tried taking him to like one of our off-road, our off-road park events, and as a 2 or 3-year-old, I mean, they're in the car seat just getting pa-pow, pa-pow, bounced around, and they're like, oh, why is this fun?
Yeah.
This isn't fun. I'm getting beat up back here.
When's the fun part come, Dad?
Yeah, exactly. But there's times where I want to go solo, but I don't want to go completely solo. So like having a dog, just to have a companion there at
Sure.
night would be really nice. I like that dynamic of it.
Yeah, there's nothing better than having a dog around with you. Just if nothing else, keep your sanity on long trips. That way you kind
Yeah.
of focusing on them a little bit, because that trip to Texas, that was 16 hours.
Yeah.
So it gets to be a long day. So you kind of divert some of your attention to them. And my kids are all grown. I've got two girls, 19 and 24, and
Right.
they're doing their own thing now. So when they were little, they'd have been all into this, but I got into this at the points where they were kind of moving into their adulthood, so they're not
Right.
really into this either. So yeah, dog is makes for a great companion when you're doing this.
So, okay, so 19 and 24,
Yes, sir.
they're to the point now where, I mean, are they interested in what you do at all?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, my oldest just got married, so she's trying to build her family. My youngest, she's trying to figure out what she wants to do in life, and and we weren't no different at that age either, and that's
Right.
fine. So
Yeah.
they're trying to figure out their space in this whole thing, and if they want to eventually come along, come on along. If not, that's okay too.
Yeah. Well, because like I mean, 19's fresh out of high school, and I remember like my high school sweetheart. We were together. 2 years of high school, and then afterward. But I mean, I grew up camping, not like overlandy, but again, we had an RV, state parks, and did a lot of traveling like that. And then, that point where you don't want anything to do with your parents. And then, as I came out of high school, we, me and my girlfriend at the time, we found camping together as a really fun thing to do on the weekends instead of
Sure.
going out and doing things. So, I mean, her and I were probably I mean, there was times where we went camping every weekend, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, just seeing different things, jumping in a lake, jumping in a creek. But I mean, you know,
Yeah,
different people with different strokes.
yeah. Me and my wife were talking about possibly adding a little pull behind next year.
Okay.
Because you get in your mid-50s, suddenly laying on the ground and everything else ain't quite as appealing as it should be.
Yeah,
And
oh, yeah,
there's nothing wrong with having the bathroom every now and then either.
absolutely. So
So
you don't have rooftop tent, so you're ground
no,
camp.
if we're camping, we're on the ground.
Yeah. Now, I went. This was 2 years ago. I went and got a teardrop camper.
Okay.
So my like I said, my son's 14, and his entire childhood we have tent camped. We've tent camped the entire time, and we always loved it. So then I found the overlanding thing, and then I'm like, I'm gonna get a teardrop. So I got a project teardrop, okay, and well, I hate it.
Yeah.
I and it's not that I'm against the trailer situation. It's against the one I bought.
Okay.
I fell in love with it. I loved it to death. Up front, it had in front of the teardrop itself had a storage place where I could put two bikes easily,
Okay.
and a generator when I had one or if I had one. And then I built a kayak rack up top, so I had two bikes, two kayaks, could fit two people inside of it. The back opened as a galley. I had all my cooking station, storage like for days. I mean, I could put way more in it than I had ever really need for even a week-long trip. But I hated it, and I actually still have it. I'm probably gonna sell it, but we went back to ground tent again, and
Sure.
we just enjoy the tent more. Even my son agreed. We just like a tent more.
Well, it's like everything else. There's something for everybody, and maybe
Yeah.
that just wasn't your family's thing.
Yeah. However, that being said, having a bigger one with a bathroom inside of it, which
Yeah, like I said, me and my wife we're in our mid-50s, and as you get older, a few of the creature comforts are definitely nice.
absolutely. So, what are some trips you have planned or want to do here in the near future?
Well, I want to get out to Utah.
Okay.
A couple trips we've had for Utah this year all kind of fell through, and then I'm talking with a group of guys about getting out to the Rubicon next year.
Oh man.
Yes, so we're kind of talking about leaving here, going through Colorado, and then heading up into the Rubicon area.
Nice.
Rubicon, for wheeling, that's the destination of all destinations right there. And
It is.
I'm a Jeep guy, so everybody wants little Jeep badges, and that's that's
But
the holy grail of Jeep badges.
it is. I agree with you 100% there. That's the pinnacle.
Right.
Just
And there's everybody that's out there, as you know. The Toyotas are out there, the Jeeps, you name it. It's all getting beat up by the rocks out there.
that's seeing it on TV. It's just gosh, it's such a unique place. It's almost, I don't know, it's almost something of a dream, in all honesty.
Right.
It looks amazing. What was it? The one of those Jeep events they have out there. I mean, there's probably 100 Jeep events out there every year,
Sure there
but
are.
there was one of them. I wish I could think of the name of it right now, but it looked so fun to be out there. The Jeep throws it. There's big party up there at night, and it looked
They
incredible.
got Jeep Jamboree, and then there's Jeep Jamboree, and then I think his other one is Jeepers Jamboree, and one of them is more family oriented, and the other one is just go crazy.
That's the one I want to go to.
Okay.
I see. Well, I seen a video recently, and it looked like they had such a blast out
Yeah,
there.
they got bands out there and everything.
Man, that is neat. The what I find weird is like, okay, Jeep does that for all their Jeep family. And there's the Jeep Badge of Honor trails. And I'm really curious why there isn't something Toyota related with all that.
Yeah, I don't know, and it kind of surprises me too because that's all ran through Jeep. So I'm surprised that the Toyotas or any of the others doesn't. And it just promotes using and it promotes their vehicles. So I don't know why the other ones don't do something similar as well.
It really it amazes me, honestly, because okay, I mean, obviously here in Missouri, I think Jeep is still kind of you see more Jeeps than you do anything else here in Missouri, in our area. But I mean, you've been out west, and then like the further out west you go, let's just say Colorado, for instance. Now, once you get to Colorado, you start to see the balance switch a little bit, where you might start to see a little more Toyota than you do Jeep. And then you go out towards, even more west, and it's the Toyota can start to outweigh the Jeep. And so that direction, you would think Toyota really put more money and research and into something Toyota off-road.
Yeah, and it's really just self-promotion, right? I mean, let's call it what it is. It's their way to try to promote these 50, I think it's 50 or 51 trails now.
Yeah.
Try to go out and just a way to try to hook you and bring you into the family, if you will. And if you go out and you beat up your Jeep, and I need a new one. Oh damn.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess let's be honest here. So like, let's say like a Jeep Rubicon. Now that's factory with, front and rear locker. You have factory sliders, and are the Rubicons on 35s yet, factory, or are they still 33s?
I think they're on 35s or 34 35s.
So
they're somewhere in there.
So out of the box, I'm going to say, Rubicons now, that's the top dog. Now out of the box, a Jeep, that's a very capable vehicle versus a Toyota TRD Pro. Now, TRD Pro is the top tier of Toyota, in off-road. And, they're still, shoving the TRD Pro out the door with, 265s on it and a rear locker. And if you want to go 35s, you got to cut the shit out of it. You got to cut the inner fenders out. You got to do a lot of modifications to fit 35s on a Toyota, which sucks for one, because you got to cut your new truck apart to put 35s on it. But you'd think if you don't want to put 35s out of the factory, that's fine. Don't do that. But don't make it where you have to cut your brand new truck apart to put 35s on it. 35s aren't big tire anymore. 35s used to be a big tire, but now factory.
Well, I think the two platforms offer something a little different for both, right? Because I think that and while I'm not a Toyota owner, but I think like the 4Runner, to me that looks more overlanding and some some possible rock crawling, a little bit, trail ride, but primarily overland vehicle. And I think the Jeep is kind of reversed. I think it's more of a crawler that can do some overlanding. Because let's face it, there's no room in the Jeep. If you ever been inside of a Jeep, you've got, if it's a 4-door, you got the back seat, but it's uncomfortable. And you got the area behind it. You can get some stuff in a Jeep, but there's not near the space like a 4Runner, right? So they both have their platform that they can both do, but one's got more of a forte towards each of their own.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah. The independent front suspension, that's nice and all, but to be able to disconnect your front sway bar on a straight axle, you're flexing out pretty decently.
Oh, absolutely.
us just hanging one tire down.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the overlanding scene, like you said, I mean, the overlanding itself isn't about rock crawling. It's about being able to be able to overcome a obstacle that's in your way to get to your destination.
Right.
Not about rock crawling just to rock crawl. I mean, although there's, plenty of us out there that are doing it, and, but those are built rigs, and I've seen some crazy Tacomas out there lately, but, and we got a guy in our group, it's got a straight axle swap FJ. Now, and I mean, I'm all for straight axle swap and, any of these Toyotas, that's great. But then you've taken the Toyota dynamic out of it. In my opinion, like, it's still a Toyota, and he used Toyota parts, it's still a Toyota based front end, and it's a very, very capable vehicle. And I love it, but I'm just saying it's not that vehicle anymore. Now you take a Jeep and you put a lift on it, it's still that same Jeep that came out of the factory with a lift on it now. He cut the front end out and had to put a whole something different in it.
Sure.
But I mean, it's still cool. I'm not saying it's not cool, and I would totally do it if I had the money.
Well, sure. Well, didn't the older FJs? If you go back into the older FJs, it almost looks like an older Jeep. The old FJs had straight axles in them, didn't they?
Yes.
Solid axle.
Yeah, solid axle, and then even the pickups and the 4Runners did till 82. So in 80, the first generation of the first generation 4Runners had straight axle.
Okay.
And then later on they went to the independent, and then that was the end of that. But no, so you can still find some of those parts to throw underneath your vehicle to keep it Toyota if you're you're a purist. But I mean, you might as well find a freaking wrecked F-250 and steal the running gear under that and stick it under there. It's a lot cheaper. But
it's all about building your rig. We all do this a little bit differently, and you got your purist and you got your, we're just going to make this go either go fast or go hard.
Yeah, definitely. So we STL Toyota Off-Road, we kind of have a shop now. Brandon Ortez, one of our founding members, he took it upon himself to get a shop, and I'm not a fabricator. I want to be, but I'm not. I've just never really ever been in a fab shop where I've been able to start welding or start cutting or bending or anything. But so we're starting to. He went and bought a bender, and we got a nice welder now. And Kyle Gilliam, the other founding member of STL Toyota, he's a welder. So our idea down the road is to start doing some light fabrication, in our shop. It's right now it's kind of a testing period,
Sure.
And we got the shop. We're not making money. I mean, it's all, just shop fee at this point. But right now it's just kind of like, hey, if you're part of the group, you want your oil changed, just come down and have a nice place to, lay on the ground and change your oil and hang out with us. It's kind of a hangout area at the moment, but we do have plans for it.
I heard you guys podcast, Meet the Founders. It was pretty good.
Oh, thank you. That was the first time we had Kyle on there. So this podcast is actually a really fun format to do. I think I asked you about it last time we met. You said you were thinking about doing it, or you had one going.
Yeah, we tried it, but
yeah,
I tried one. And quite frankly, we all have our forte, and I think you have to have someone to either talk to or interview. Because try to do this solo by yourself, and you're just kind of talking. It's difficult, as you know.
I do. The first 5, 6 episodes. I might one day go back and just like delete those. I'm
Yeah,
almost embarrassed that they're there. But on the other hand, like, all right, they're there, and I guess people, if they wanted to go back, they can listen to the progression, and
yeah. It's always good to know where you came from.
exactly. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying to do the video format as well. So I mean, I'll cut the audio away, and this will be on the podcast, and then this will be on the YouTube and
Okay.
podcast. So this is dual content,
Sure.
actually. Um, but when you're like you said, when you're just sitting in your chair and you start talking, you start thinking about too many different things at once.
Yeah,
You start
absolutely.
thinking about, 35s are a great tire, but my transmission needs flushed, and my lug nuts are loose, and I need sliders. Like, what the hell did I just say?
Yeah,
And
when you go back and you edit it, and you're like, I can't use any of this.
yeah, your mind just wanders. But
Yeah,
once, go ahead. Sorry.
I would say, yeah, I get it because I know from creating YouTube content, and you need at least 8 minutes to monetize. And
Okay.
there's times when I'll literally have 20 hours of footage,
Right.
and I'll cut, and I'll end up with 10, 15-minute video because you know how it is. No one's going to sit and watch you just doodling or, okay, yeah, I've seen that 20 times. Next. Before you know it, they zone out. So you got to try to trim all the fat out of it and make it interesting. It's not easy.
I mean, do you ever try to set, like, I'm gonna try to make a 15-minute video? Do you ever set that goal for yourself, or do you just kind of let it be?
I kind of just let it be, primarily because of the space we're in. It doesn't take long to rack up 10 or 15 minutes.
No, it doesn't.
I welded all day on a bracket that I'm going to make a video out of, and it's going to be lucky to be 8 minutes.
Right.
And that's just what it is. There's some people who could sit and watch it all day, but very few.
Absolutely.
And it's just, it's just nature of the beast. Most people don't go to a NASCAR race to watch a car go in circles. Most of the people go to the NASCAR race to watch the wrecks. Right? In between the rest that are getting popcorn and sodas, they're zoned out. It's the same thing.
No, that's a very good analogy, actually. That's a really good analogy. I like that one. I like that one. So like, for me, when I say like, I'm gonna say just a 15-minute video, that's a false achievement for me. So I'll throw it all into my timeline. Let's say I have 40 minutes there, and then I'll do like my first cut, trimming all the fat the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you go back and you watch it and you're like, well, that's not even necessary. I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
And then then you cut that. And then you're like, well, if I cut that, then this other part's not necessary either. So then, like, I keep cutting it back, where it may not be 15 minutes, but I try to get closer to that goal, even though I'm not actually trying to make a 15-minute video.
Right.
It's just one of those mental games I try to play with myself just to get it down. But I don't know if it even matters.
The big thing is, from you'll edit this later, and you start catching all the ums and uhs and and all those little words. Because I had a video I had done. I had interviewed a place called Wildside Jeep Customs.
Okay.
And I think it was the word or it was neat. That's neat. And I got I'm like, I can't cut all these out. I've said neat so many times, so I just made a game out of it. Every time I said a video, a little ding, there's one ding too. Because you start picking up on all these little quirks that you have. When you start editing your own content, you slowly change how you do things.
You do. And like what you just said there with the you put a ding, and like you and I, okay, when you watch somebody else's video, you watch it once, so you may not catch all the neats, but now you catching that, you've watched your own video, go and edit it, you've watched it 5-6 times, so you catch it now because you've watched it that many times in a row. So I like you said, I like to make light of that. Like, these are my
Right.
faults. So let's go ahead and make fun of it. You know, I did this. Let's make fun of it. Let's make it a game. But I wonder, that being said, like somebody else watching it just once, do they even notice it? And maybe me pointing this out makes them notice it. You know, like, I don't know, but I still like to make fun of it though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
You can't,
it's
if you can't have fun with your own content, when are you going to?
right. Exactly. All right, so maybe the last point we're going to get on here, but okay, your Jeep, what is, I'm going to give you two sides of this. What is your dream vehicle for doing what you want to do, or your dream mod? Would you just mod your vehicle out, or would you switch your platform altogether?
Oh boy. I would say if I was going to go dream, it would be like a 4500 vehicle. It would be a king of the hammers type buggy.
Okay.
And here's why I say that. My very first vehicle was a longback Chenoweth rail buggy.
Okay.
I started building that when I was 15 years old. And the minute I turned 16, I drove it out to the Troop C here to have it street legal.
Nice.
So, yeah, that was my very first vehicle, and that was my first intro into fab and everything else.
Okay.
So I would love, if anything, to do some King of the Hammers type stuff. But
Man.
that's like, hitting the lottery, King of the Hammers, that's all right there. If I was going to say the realistic version for my Jeep, I would love to be able to do a LS swap, maybe a Hemi swap, because it's getting a lot of mileage on it. So maybe someday in the near future, something like that.
Have you seen that Elephant motor that they can put in those things now?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I went to SEMA in 2019.
Okay.
And they had the Elephant there. And that's a beast.
The things that Mopar is doing right now with the insane horsepower, just the insane things they're doing, it makes me drool.
1,000 horsepower, 1,000 pounds of torque.
That thing is ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it's pretty much the old 426 Hemi, supercharged, with all the modern day bells and whistles. And it'll do it all day long, just like anything else. It's not like the old motors when you would build one up and, well, I hope this runs tomorrow.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I mean, I grew up a Chevy guy. I was, I thought I have to have Chevy. I was always Chevy, and I still like Chevy.
Sure.
I still like them. And Ford was like, if I have to drive a Ford, I'll drive a Ford. But I never liked Mopar. I mean, now I'm talking like the middle years, from like, let's talk pre-70s, because 70s down now, everything's cool. But the Mopar trucks, I just wasn't a fan of. And these last 10 years even, I mean, Mopar has killed it, man. Something, I don't know if it's a dream vehicle or not, but something I would really love to have is that new Power Wagon, that 2500 Power Wagon. Those things are nice, man. They got factory lockers front and rear. I think they're on 35s. They got a winch on them already. That's a very, very capable big ass truck.
Well, Mopar really has redefined the power game.
They have.
So, we all know how much power the Hellcats and all those make, and everybody else is fighting to keep up. I mean, Mopar really is leading that whole way, And if it really wasn't for them, I think we'd see a whole different vehicle sitting out there.
Well, you know, now I'm not gonna say it's too late to the game because it's here, and I don't think it's gonna stop yet. But now we're going into the age of the electric vehicle going forward here, and I'm not against electric vehicles. For my daily driver, and I know I might get some hate for this, for my daily driver, I would totally drive a Tesla. But I don't want, there's room for both is what I'm getting at.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just a different type of vehicle. Don't kill the gas engine to bring in the EV. We can have both, and we can still have everything we need with both. Well, okay, like one of the new Jeeps, they're one of the hybrids. They have the electric. Now that Jeep, I seen a YouTube video where he took it to the track, and so I guess you can run the engine to charge the batteries for the electric motor, and then you can switch whatever you want to take off with, I guess. But he took it to the track with just electric, and he was running, I think, like a 13-second quarter mile with just on the electric motor. That's quick. That's quick in a Jeep, 13 seconds.
Oh, absolutely. Well, like you said, if you look at Teslas and all those electric motors, or like the Porsche Taycan, I know you're talking, that's even another level of expense. Yeah. But those things are so insanely fast because that electric motor, it's not like a gas engine where you have to build that torque. It's just on.
Yeah.
And really, you're kind of bound by, can you gain traction and can you control it? Because it's just power now.
Yeah. And we have the Hummer thing coming out. And I've watched some videos on that. It can do the crab walk, and I guess that's neat. And you have the Rivian, which I guess that's neat as well. And I suppose it's a very capable vehicle. They say it's all waterproof. You can't drown it because there's no intake. But I don't know. Like, I guess in 20 years, next to our vintage Jeeps and vintage Toyotas, we're gonna be out there on the trails with like these electric vehicles.
Sure.
That's
Well, really, let's just call it what it is. So you and I, and I'll say people of our era, we know and we understand gas engines.
Yes.
And we can work on them, and we can, if we have to change hubs and we got to do this and that, let's go. We got it.
Yeah, on the trail, yeah.
But if the electric vehicle breaks down, I don't even know where to start. And unfortunately, yeah, I'll change a tire, but that's not a platform that we grew up on.
No.
That our kids coming up on this, they'll look at that electric vehicle just like it's everyday stuff, and they'll learn how to work on that, and it'll just become part of their culture, just like the gas was for us. So it'll be generational.
I guess so. It's just, it's weird. I was listening to the Rizzuto show on the Point in the morning. That's why I drive to work. And they were talking about this. Just reminding me of that. When I know you remember this because I remember this. Having to get up and change the channel on the TV by the knob.
Which one? Which knob?
Right. Yeah. You had the
UHF and VHF.
Yeah, on the bottom, and then the channel on top.
Yep.
And then if you wanted to use your VCR, you had to put it on channel 3. Mm-hmm. Because you had a thing you had to put on the antenna. Yeah, little splicer you had to put on the antenna thing so you could run your VCR. And then so just in one generation, we went from that to having, a 70-inch flat screen TV in your room, with streaming video on it.
Right.
And then, so I guess.
if you watch, I'm sure you watch like Jay Leno's Garage.
Yeah.
And, he's got some EVs from 1900.
Yes.
So the electric vehicle is not a new platform. But I think what's new is they finally started to figure out how to get the power density in those batteries to make it feasible. Because you and I don't want to be driving. If we're going to take that for long trips, we don't want to sit by the charging station for hours on end.
No.
Just so I can go another 200 miles. The fuel's too easy. Now, if they ever get to the point where, I can pull up, I can charge my battery in a few minutes and then go, well, now we got something. Or if you're just running around town, I think it's a really good platform. But if you're gonna do a lot of distance, I don't know.
That's what that's exactly it. 'Cause like I said, as my daily driver, I think it would be a really cool vehicle. Around town, your Sunday driver, doing that kind of stuff. I'm fine with it. But like you said, long distance traveling, I think it's gonna be a problem. And the infrastructure is not there yet, because what you just mentioned. Okay, we have these huge gas stations now with 50 pumps. You pull up, they're 30 cars at a time. We can all fill up and be gone within a matter of minutes. Now, and I know 20 years is a long time, but it's not. You pull up with 20 electric cars that have to sit there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to charge up. How does that? You're going to have a congestion there at every, charging station of multiple cars sitting there for so long. I don't know. I'm not a genius. I mean, I'm obviously not making Elon Musk money. So we're just two guys sitting here chatting on a podcast. So.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I think there's a lot of future in it, but like you said, I think the focus is going to be electric, which it's you and I both know that's where it's going for now.
It's going. Yeah.
They're going to have to do some work on infrastructure.
Yeah. There's a lot of work there.
So hopefully at some point in the game, I'll find someone who wants to mod one, and we'll bring it into the fab shop and we'll start cutting on it.
Okay. There's a YouTube channel called Rich Rebuilds. So he got his YouTube fame from Teslas. So I think because Tesla, you had to take it to Tesla to fix everything.
Right.
So he wanted to hack it, and he wanted to start fixing Teslas. So he started buying salvaged Teslas and then rebuilding them and selling them.
The Roadsters?
Well,
the Roadsters, right?
No, not that one.
Okay, all right.
So I don't know, the model, whatever Tesla you see out there the most. I'm not sure what model that is.
Okay.
But so he's buying those, rebuilding them, selling them, and then people are bringing, if they have an issue with their Tesla, they're bringing it to this guy now instead of Tesla, and he's charging them, half as much as Tesla's charging them. So he's building a LS swapped Tesla right now. I believe it's maybe it's already launched already. So there's going to be an LS swapped Tesla, and then he also built a lifted 4-wheel drive Tesla. It's actually pretty cool. He put an exoskeleton on it. It's lifted, and it's actually a pretty badass looking Tesla.
Cool.
But it's got half the battery life in it. Probably goes 100 miles. But hey, it looks cool.
That's right.
Well, anyways, Larry, we went in just over an hour. I think we can go ahead and wrap things up, man. But I really appreciate you coming on and showing us a little bit of your world and talking about your YouTube channel and your fabrications. And I tell you what, if you do some really clean fabrications, and I mean, if you're looking for business, I'll definitely send them your way. I really like the way your builds look so far.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate you inviting me on to this. We've not really done many interviews like this, so it helps me kind of stretch my legs out on this a little bit as well. So appreciate inviting me onto your platform. And if that's one of the things we're looking for. I'm trying to find people with, let's say, the newer Toyotas are coming out, even the new Broncos.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of fun. I'm looking for someone, especially in the St. Louis area, who has those, who's interested in let me build some of the stuff on those. And you can't go out and buy all the vehicles, so you need people in the area who's willing to let you play a little bit.
Yes. Hey, I need all kinds of shit. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I very much appreciate it. And if you can put my info in the show notes, but our YouTube channels are Jeep and Mo, and it's GEEPINGMO. And then the other one is 4x4 Fab Shop, and there's no space between Fab Shop. So that's where you can find both of us. And yeah, we'd appreciate any followership or anything else.
Perfect, man. Yeah, I'll put your links in the description for sure, and highly recommend you. I'll hype you up, man. I had a really good conversation, and like I said, I've met you in person, and just you're a super likable guy.
Yeah, ditto. We both kind of hit it off. It's a community, and I think we're all pretty much like-minded people, so that's good stuff.
Absolutely, and we'll we're only an hour away from each other. In all honesty, but we'll have to and we need rather than at an off-road event or one of these overland events, we need to get out and hit a trail together one of these times.
Anytime. I need a shakedown run too, and I got axles I got to try out.
Oh, you're going to show me. All righty, Larry. I'll let you go, and you have a good night. And man, I really appreciate it.
All right. Thanks a lot, Eric. Good show. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.